Hello everyone! So I'm in a new setting just for this little bit until I get back home. I'm currently in Austin, Texas, but I could not get away from doing a Bring It On books for January for you. There's a lot of books in January, and I've been reading to try to get prepared for everything that is coming out. And in case you haven't noticed about the video quality being a lot better, I got a camera for Christmas and it's super exciting. So let's bring it on books for January. The first book that is coming out that I'm really excited for is on January 7th, and I am currently reading the first book in the series. It's the second book that is coming out, but it is the Splintered series by A.J. Howard, and it's a take on an Alice in Wonderland type thing. I'm reading the first book right now, and I'm really enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. Basically, what the first book is about, to give a short synopsis, it is about a girl named Alyssa Gardner, and her how many great-great-grandmothers is actually Alice from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. Apparently Alice created a lot of havoc in Wonderland, and so it is Alyssa's duty to try to fix what Alice set wrong so that way her family members can stop being plagued by madness. It's always the female lines who end up going mad. In order to stop that from happening, she goes into Wonderland, and it's not all that it seems. So the second book series that I'm looking forward to, it is the second book of the Testing series. I have not read the first book yet, but what I gather from the first book, The Testing by Joelle Carbonneau, I don't know. There's been a war in the United States, and the main character, Sia, I'm guessing is how you pronounce it, that's at least how I'm going to pronounce it, is a testing candidate, and she wants to go to university, but not everything is as it seems, and it's trust no one, and yeah, it seems really intriguing. You don't know a lot about it going into it, which I think makes it even more intriguing. So I'm looking forward to that book, which also, the second book comes out on January 7th as well. This next book is also the second book of a series, and it comes out on January 14th. I normally probably wouldn't have ever found this book, except for I've heard Jessie from Jessie the Reader talk about it a lot, and it is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It sounds really interesting, and it sounds like very creepy and paranormal, and I love that type of stuff. So I'm really interested to reading the first and the second books. The next book that I am looking forward to is Ever True by Jodi Ashton, and it is the third book of the Everneath series, and I have reread just a couple days ago the first two books, which are Everneath and Everbound, and I really like the books. It's like a twist on Persephone and Hades, as well as different mythology. Ever True comes out on January 21st. Another book that I'm really looking forward to come out is A Mad Wicked Folly by Sharon Biggs Waller, and it comes out January 23rd. It takes place in London 1909, and the main character, Victoria, her parents have certain plans for her, and basically she's doing everything her parents don't want to do. She has clandestine affairs, and she poses nude pictures in art classes, and she wants to be an artist herself. So it sounds like a really interesting book about a woman trying to find her way in London 1909 when that wasn't the easiest thing to do. Another book that finishes the series comes out on January 28th, and it is Into the Still Blue, which is the third and final book of Under the Never Sky series by Veronica Rossi. It's actually been about a year since I have read Under the Never Sky, so I don't really remember so much about it. I'll have to definitely reread the series before Into the Still Blue comes out. Basically what I can remember, it's about this girl, Arya, who is in kind of like the civilized, very technological place in the future, and everything else has been destroyed. There are people, dwellers, and outsiders, and these never intermix. So when Arya is no longer in this technological compound, she finds and runs into an outsider named Perry, and they find more about each other, and I don't really remember the particulars going into the third book again, so I'll have to reread it, but I do know and I do remember that I really like this series, and I was really interested to see what happened after the second book. So I assume that I will highly enjoy rereading the series and finishing up the series. The next book that I'm really looking forward to is the second book to the Archive series by Victoria Schwab, and I haven't read the first book, but I really want to, and it sounds interesting. On Goodreads, the first sentence is, "Imagine a place where the dead rest on shelves like books." and that just sounds like the perfect book for me. So basically, it's about Mackenzie Bishop. I don't know too much about it, and I'm still kind of a little bit confused reading description. It's a little vague, which I don't mind at all, as long as it sounds interesting enough for me to read. So basically, it's about Mackenzie Bishop, and she is kind of like, I guess, the keeper of the dead, and I really don't know much about other than that. The second book also comes out on January 28th. There are a lot of books that come out on January 28th. Another book that is coming out on January 28th is the second book to The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd, and this is a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, but I knew that I wanted to kind of read the first and the second ones back to back. The cover is just amazing. I love the cover of this book, and basically it is about a 16-year-old girl in London, and she finds out about her father's madness on this island, I guess, and it's about kind of learning more about it, about her father, and I guess more about her, and she knows that she has to end her father's experiments. And I just think it really has an interesting premise, and I cannot wait to read it, and the cover just looks really dark and exciting. This other book that also comes out on January 28th has a really interesting premise, and I'm really excited to read it. It is Uninvited by Sophie Jordan. It is the first book to a two-part series. Just to read a little bit off of Goodreads about what it is in this short little blurb is Sophie Jordan's chilling new novel about a teenage girl who is ostracized when her genetic test proves she is destined to become a murderer. Basically, they have this homicidal tendency syndrome that they test for, and certain people who have this syndrome and have this genetic capability are destined to one day become a murderer, and so they're ostracized. And so it's about her trying to prove this all wrong, and can she prove this syndrome thing wrong. Another series that is finishing up, and I have not read any of the series, so I'm looking forward to marathoning it, is the third book to the New Soul series. The series is by Jodi Meadows, and it comes out also on January 28th. It sounds really interesting, and it's kind of about reincarnation, and these new souls always get reincarnated, but for some reason when Anna's soul is reincarnated, another soul dies, and so it's finding about like why and what, like, is she special, is she not, but like, is there something wrong with her? So I haven't really read a book about like reincarnation before, and it sounds really interesting, and the covers are so pretty, and so I cannot wait to go ahead and read these. The last book that I'm looking forward to is a standalone book, and it is called Cruel Beauty by Rosamund Hodge, and basically it is a twist on Beauty and the Beast, and I'm really looking forward to it. It also comes out on January 28th. So below, I will link all of the first books of the series and link to their Goodread pages, so you guys can check them out too and see if you guys like them. So that is it for today. I will see you after New Year's. Have a happy New Year's, and let's get started for a wonderful and fantastic reading 2014, because there's a lot of books. Okay, bye!